The ocean breeze carried salt and memories, and in that moment, before anyone spoke, before anything changed, two completely different lives collided under the open sky. He felt it first, that strange pull in his chest, the quiet weight of being seen when he had spent years trying to stay invisible. The beach was supposed to be simple, just another day of borrowed peace, but fate had a way of choosing ordinary places to begin extraordinary stories. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected moments that change lives, take a second right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Daniel Harper had not come to the beach to admire views or escape into fantasy. He came because it was free, because the sand didn't charge rent, and because his 8-year-old son finally slept through the night after weeks of nightmares. Being a single father had taught Daniel how to survive on little sleep and even less certainty. Every decision he made passed through one filter: what would keep his son safe, fed, and believing that life could still be gentle. His shoulders carried years of quiet responsibility, and his eyes held the kind of tired honesty that came from loving someone more than himself. Sitting across from him was a woman who seemed carved from a different universe, calm and composed, her presence commanding without effort, her posture relaxed but powerful, like someone who had never doubted her place in the world. Victoria Lawson was used to being watched, but she was rarely truly seen. As the CEO of a global lifestyle brand, she lived in boardrooms, private flights, and perfectly curated moments. The beach was her rare pause, a place where she could pretend she was just another woman enjoying the sun, yet something about Daniel disrupted that illusion. He didn't look at her the way others did, not with hunger or ambition, but with a fleeting curiosity that quickly softened into distance, as if he didn't believe he belonged in the same frame. That restraint intrigued her more than confidence ever could. She sensed a story behind his silence, a weight he carried without complaint, and for the first time in a long while, she felt drawn not by desire, but by empathy. Daniel struggled with the discomfort of proximity. He knew who she was. Everyone did. Her name appeared on magazines his ex-wife once read while dreaming of a different life. Sitting there, he felt the familiar pinch of inadequacy rise in his chest, the old fear that he was nothing more than a tired man with a second-hand car, and a child who depended on him for everything. Yet he stayed, because walking away had become his default, and something deep inside him whispered that staying might matter this time. He focused on the horizon, on the waves breaking and reforming, reminding himself that even things that shattered could return whole in a different shape. As the afternoon unfolded, unspoken truths hovered between them. Victoria noticed the way Daniel's phone lit up with reminders: school pickup times, medication alarms, grocery lists written with care. She saw the tenderness in his reactions, the way his entire being shifted when his son's name appeared on the screen. It stirred something in her that success never had. She had built empires but neglected intimacy, surrounded herself with people who wanted her power rather than her presence. Watching Daniel, she realized that strength didn't always announce itself. Sometimes it sat quietly, holding the world together one small promise at a time. Daniel's answer to her teasing curiosity, unspoken but deeply felt, was not about what he saw in front of him, but what he carried within. He was measuring distance, wondering how far apart two lives could be and still touch. His honesty, expressed through calm restraint and self-awareness, stunned her more than any grand gesture could have. It made her reflect on her own life, on the cost of always being the strongest person in the room, and the loneliness that came with never needing help. As days passed, their chance meeting turned into deliberate time together. Walks along the shore became moments of reflection. Daniel shared his struggles in careful pieces: the loss of his wife, the nights he held his son while pretending not to be afraid, the jobs he turned down because they demanded too much of the little family he had left. Victoria listened without trying to fix him, and in that listening he found relief. She, in turn, allowed herself to be vulnerable, admitting the exhaustion of leadership, the emptiness behind accolades, and the fear that she had traded love for control. Together, They discovered that healing didn't require perfection, only presence. The greatest challenge came not from their differences but from their fears. Daniel worried he would never be enough in her world, that his simplicity would one day bore her. Victoria feared she would disrupt the fragile balance of his life, that her intensity might overwhelm the quiet sanctuary he had built for his son. Yet slowly trust formed, not through promises, but through consistency. She showed up, he stayed open, and in that mutual effort, something steady and real took root. Change arrived quietly. Daniel began to believe that his worth wasn't measured by comparison, but by the love he gave freely. Victoria learned that stepping down from the spotlight, even briefly, didn't diminish her power, it deepened it. They didn't rescue each other, they walked side by side, choosing courage over comfort. And in doing so, they modeled a different kind of success, one built not on titles or sacrifices, but on shared humanity. If this story is touching something inside you, if it reminds you of your own struggles, your own quiet strength, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and let us know by engaging below. Your support means more than you know. Before this story ends, we ask you one small thing. Comment below with a single word that describes how this story made you feel. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting gold across the water, Daniel and Victoria sat in comfortable silence, no longer strangers, no longer afraid. The beach returned to what it had always been, sand, sea, and sky, but for them, it had become the place where two broken timelines aligned. Not because one was more than the other, but because both were finally ready to be seen, to choose connection, and to believe that even after loss, life could still surprise you with something beautiful.